Hey, it's Owen. It's Friday. It's time for me to repeat all the news that I've been reading off of MMO Champion and Wowhead and regurgitate it back to you. The top story of the week has been taking place, well, the entire week actually. The Emerald Nightmare raid had launched, as well as the new Mythic Keystone dungeon mode. And it's been a lot of fun. As a kind of super quick review, the raid was fun, the bosses were pretty engaging, some of them not so much, but I don't know, maybe next week I'll do a point-by-point review of what I think of each of the bosses. Mythic Keystone dungeons have been proving to be just as challenging as I'd hoped they'd be, and then some. When my guild and I did our first level 4 dungeon, we had bolstering as our affix, and that's when right before an ad dies, it'll buff all the ads around them. It'll give them like a 20% stacking damage buff and a maximum health buff. And on top of that, we had Blackrock Hold to handle. So yeah, I'm still traumatized, lamenting the keystone that no way. Fuck it. I'm not gonna bother with that damn place. Not until I get like way better gear. But overall, the system seems like a lot of fun so far. I'm gonna revisit this in the next couple of weeks to kind of see, to let you guys know what I think about it. So yeah, the dungeons were good, the rating was good. Prisoners Warcraft, my guild, we were able to complete 7 of 7 on normal mode. Emerald Nightmare just last night, so props to those guys. There's a cool little screenshot, and quick shout to Chappie. Sorry that you couldn't make it to the screenshots. She was like stuck in like some void. I don't know what she just couldn't get out. No matter what she can do, she was just stuck. So the poor girl. But yeah, props to you guys. Good job, and don't disappoint me next week, man. The Brewfest holiday event had just started this week, and at least to my knowledge, it's pretty much all the same shit that you're used to. The one big difference is that the Corin Dire Brew dungeon event, the whole daily kill the guy, get a trinket thing, the trinkets, while they're just a measly item level 810, they're usable at level 100. So while you're also getting rest XP, you might as well go ahead and drop in, get to that dungeon, farm some trinkets really quick. A bit of personal / general news. Around this time, people should be starting to get their Legion Pathfinder Part 1 achievement. Because I did. Ta-da! I'm gonna buy myself a cookie for this one. Overall, I feel that the Suramar and Nightfallen experience has been pretty damn fulfilling between all the cool quests that you can do, the challenge between it. Even though I'm a tank, I kind of trivialize a lot of it. It's still a whole lot of fun, and the ending has a kind of fulfilling, bittersweet, and I guess relieving moment, because thank God I don't have to try so hard at repping up with them anymore. And the Lore Master achievement is probably going to be the last thing that you fulfill right before getting your Pathfinder achievement. Like I said in an earlier video, I can kind of, now that I'm here in this spot, I can kind of look back and say, hey, all that stuff was definitely worth it. It was a lot of fun. It was cool. The one problem that I have with it is that the Pathfinder gives you a 20% mount speed buff, which is really cool, unless you're a paladin, or otherwise you have a class that gives you faster run speed or faster mount speed, because it does nothing for my main. Great. The main thing today is more like a rant of mine. I've been observing like the different hot fixes and patch notes and the stuff that's been being data mined through MMO Champion and Wowhead and what have you. And more importantly, I've been seeing the responses from players, as well as what Blizzard has been saying in response to those responses. And I got a little something to say to folks that pay attention to this kind of data. And it's cool to be curious about it. It's curious to want to know ahead of time, hey, what is incoming, what is going to be the thing to do or to panic about. But at the same time, I'd like to kind of encourage you guys to kind of pull back on that a little bit and calm the fuck down. There's obviously a lot of folks that are angered about certain buffs or damage number tweaking that's occurring in this data mined information, but at the same time, it's just data mined information. It's not necessarily stuff that Blizzard really wants you to see. It's very under the hood stuff, preliminary things, just the start of what's actually to come. Our best bet right now, unfortunately to some of you folks that might be listening, would be to kind of wait and see for what the blue responses are actually going to be. Because historically, those kinds of responses haven't had a whole lot to do at all with what we've seen in data mined info. But at the same time, there's a lot of wasted breath and brain power that's being used. Players and forum posters fleeing shit at each other and talking smack and starting a mess over data that's not even like finalized at all. I remember throughout the alpha and beta that MMO Champion and Wildhead was posting stuff, notes and data mined info about order hall information, and so the community was just flipping their shit over it. And now we're at where we're at, and order hall missions are not that big of a thing. At least in my opinion. A lot of folks will call it AIDS, cancer, or some other equivalent disease. But as far as what I'm reading, and I definitely could be wrong about what I'm reading, there might be updated information, there might be, I might just be reading this wrong, but as far as I'm looking, all the patch notes that have to do with number tweaking are already in place. They've been hot fixed, there have been tweaks and things like that. These are all just tooltip updates. And the actual tuning isn't going to happen until next week. And my advice to folks would be to wait for an actual blue post that says, hey, here are the upcoming changes that are here. So it seems silly to say, but it feels like the best course of action for the average player to take, or even the above average player to take, would be to just stop reading this kind of information and just wait and be ignorant about it until we see official patch notes. Because again, it's been my observation that looking at this information and talking about it and so on and so forth is ultimately a big waste of time. As a counterpoint, I'm sure that there is some information that players have responded to and, just went ballistic about while it was still just data mined information, and then Blizzard was like, okay, we'll respond to it, we'll fix it, or, we'll revert it, something like that. But it feels like that is more the exception to the rule, that for the most part, we should just kind of calm down. I think we can take this energy and time and put it elsewhere, because between the analysis and shooting videos and rating and playing and doing all this stuff, I did not know like this whole time that Hiddleswift is over. Like, what the so that's the news. And next week I want to go over kind of the state of the WoW economy right now. I only have one realm to really look at this data over with, but I'm pretty sure this will kind of give a good indication of just how raiding has affected the economy as it is, and of course the paradigms of reintroducing scarcity. As you know, it's a lot harder to get resources these days, and so prices have gone up. Things have been all over the place. There's the whole crafting obliterum stuff that sucks, but I'm going to be talking about that stuff sometime next week. So I am out for the weekend. You guys can reach out to me over on Twitter or Facebook or down over in the comments below. And if nothing else, you guys have a very pleasant weekend. I'll see you guys Monday. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys. Stay breezy, guys.